Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of Course Épique, recorded today in Chamonix during the UTMB Mont-Blanc. It's such a pleasure to be here at the Kelas Fuga pop-up store, partner of both my guests, Joaquin Lopez and María Vallejo. How are you?
Good. I'm just finished OCC, so tired but really happy.
Yeah, you look like you're happy. That's cool. What about you, María? How are you?
Good as well. Nervous about tomorrow's race, but happy to be here and speaking to you, Guillaume.
And it's not a small race. It's a really long one.
Yes.
And the first time for you for the UTMB race.
First 100 miles. Yes, I've done TDS twice, but not UTMB.
Cool. So congratulations on your top 40 this year at the OCC. Was maybe not your favorite format. We will discuss this afterwards, but that's great. Great race that you just achieved. We'll take some time to look back at your race together, but also your broader athletic journey and your experiences here at the UTMB, including, of course, your impressive third place at last year's UTMB. Joaquin will also talk about your connection with the Kelas Fuga. Maria will dive into your own sporting background and discuss your upcoming UTMB project. Your race kicks off tomorrow with Joaquin by your side to support you. Great support. The best one, I guess.
Let's see.
Hopefully.
No pressure, but
No
I'll tell
pressure.
you on Sunday.
And at the end of the episode, let's agree to talk again after your race to record a debrief of your UTMB, Maria, and share with the listeners the emotions and learnings your adventure will bring. Would that be okay with you?
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
that's a good news. Otherwise, the episode will have been really short. For those who like to put a face on to our voices, this interview is also available in video format on the Course Épique YouTube channel. So we've got plenty of exciting things to talk about today. Before diving into your races, I'd like to start with something more personal to get to know who you are beyond sports. Can you both introduce yourself, but with one small constraint? Please do it without mentioning sports. Maria, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. So I'm María Vallejo. I'm 34 years old. I'm Ecuadorian.
No sports so far, that's okay.
What?
No sports so far, you're okay, you're on track with the
Okay.
constraints.
Thank you. So my professional background is a little bit of everything. I studied first communications, then anthropology, then public policy, and I've always been on the side of sustainability, working on different NGOs, from wildlife conservation to sustainable B corporations.
Mhm.
So I always say that I'm just here trying to make this a better world. Always connected to, well, I came to sports, but always connected to the outdoor world, which I love. But yeah, I guess that would be a
Yeah, that's perfect
small
introduction.
description of myself. Yeah.
Perfect. Joaquin.
For me, I think it's going to be more difficult. Sport has been part of my entire life, but I'll
a
try.
secret passion that you have, or no, maybe your age or
No. So I'm 32 years old. I was born in Quito, Ecuador.
You're 33.
I always I get confused. I'm 33, sorry. I was born in Quito, Ecuador at 2,800 meters above sea level, so that's something interesting. And I'm a super curious person. I like to really learn things about myself. I am super curious about others as well. So I love the community. I love to learn about people. I love to talk to people, and I think that curiosity has led me towards studying first marketing, then going abroad for a year to the United States, and now we've been living for the past 4 years in Barcelona. So I've been around the world, sharing and meeting people, and yeah, that's pretty much who I am.
Perfect. Let's get straight to it. Can you tell us the story of how you first met?
You want to do it?
Okay. I'll handle the narrative then.
Your version.
So we went to the same university and we had some friends in common, sports friends. On that time, we were both into adventure racing, which is how we both started into outdoor sports. And Joaquin had gone abroad to, as he said, to a year to study in Oregon in the United States. And when he came back, a friend of mine organized a party, and I knew he was going to be there. And yeah, so that's where we met. But at the beginning, we said, none of us are ready for something serious. Let's see where this goes. But, and here we are 13 years later, married. So
2 kids?
No kids.
No kids.
But apparently, yeah, things didn't go as planned. We were not looking for something serious, and here we are.
That's true story.
Let's keep it not too serious. That's perfect. What role did sports play during your childhood and teenager years? Joaquin, if I'm not mistaken, you discovered the outdoor sports 20 years ago when you were 13, right? Because you're 33, no, not 31.
Yes, 33. Sorry, I don't know. I think that every time I don't know, like when I grow up and like I have a birthday, I don't take it so seriously. I don't know why.
Okay,
So it's like I never count.
And you're only
funny.
33 when you will be 55.
Yeah, I will say later.
I'm 50 next year, so I can tell.
So what was the question? Sorry.
The question was the place of sports when you were young and your childhood
yes.
at around 13
So
you discover outdoor, right?
I discovered adventure racing because my brother, he started organizing an adventure, which is super uncommon. We're from Ecuador, a really small country, but full of mountains. Like all around the country, you can find a lot of nature. And my brother, actually, he went to Oregon as well. And there's where he learned about all these, like multi-sport, like mountain biking, rafting, kayaking, orienteering. And he brought that to Ecuador when I was a kid. So, of course, following his footsteps, I was the first one into his races. So that's why I started in the outdoors, like going into hikes and mountain bikes, like to discover all these peaks and all these places in Ecuador when I was 13. And that's how I grew up pretty much. Like, like it's normal that a lot of trail runners start doing a marathon first, like a road marathon. For me, I've been always in the mountains. Like actually right now I'm starting to discover a little bit more of like roads and like fast running and that kind of stuff. But for me, endurance and like adventure sports has been part of my DNA.
Would you say you already had a competitive nature at a very young age?
Yeah. I think I grew up with a lot of older cousins, and I think that helps a lot because I was always behind, So for me, I had to step up. Like it's like they were planning to go to a different peak, and they didn't invite it because they were like, "Oh, that's too technical or that's too far for you," and I showed them wrong. Like since I was a kid, I was like, I will prove you wrong, So I was that got me into being super competitive and like always challenge myself more than I thought I could.
When did you discover running, Maria? When was it?
Running specifically?
Yeah, that you intentionally run.
Yeah, so again, I started adventure racing and I actually preferred biking. My dad is a mountain biker, well, a biker, a cyclist. And for me, out of all the sports in adventure racing, it was always the least favorite, running. But I guess it was more when we started dating that I was like, okay, I'm going to try this trail running thing. Around 2013, yeah. So 12 years ago.
What did you discover?
What?
What did you discover when you started running?
The simplicity of it. That's what I loved about it. When you go cycling, you need to get your bike ready and your helmet ready and check on the air on the tires and need to find out, how to carry your bike to a place where you want to go. Whereas when you're running, it's so simple. You just get a pair of shoes on and you can get to places you cannot go any other way. And when I started running and I started going up with distance, that's also very addictive. So here I am.
Did you quickly start setting performance goal?
Yes, but obviously not as, I always say it's hard living with a professional runner as Joaquin and someone who's like performing so highly, and I am not. And that's, it's a constant learning and trying to, be a step away from that and knowing you are not a professional runner. It's okay. You don't need to be as competitive or put that much pressure on yourself. You don't do this for a living. You're just enjoying myself and being able to, keep the difference between his reality as a runner and my reality as a runner.
Stick to your own performance.
Exactly.
Not compare yourself.
I am competitive, I would say, but, with whoever is around me.
Okay. Joaquin, when did you realize that you had any potential? Was it a specific moment or a race when you discovered that?
Actually,
when you were 19, right?
Sorry?
Wasn't it when you were 19, the first race?
Exactly. I was going to mention that. So we didn't have any trail running race in Ecuador. And as soon as the first one came, I obviously signed up because from adventure racing, what the discipline that I liked the most was actually hiking and running. And I signed up for a 50K. I was like, oh, if I already walk for let's say 8 hours, like maybe 50K sounds all right. And I won it. And then it was like, wow, like I didn't thought I would. So then I was like, oh, maybe I should start running more, and like kayak and bike is a little bit too much. And then it was when I started dreaming, like first learning about the sport, like, of course, like any trail runner puts in Google like trail running and UTMB shows up, and it was like, okay, like that's my dream. So it started there, like right there. It was like I was like, okay, I wanna get there someday.
Maria, what memories do you keep from your first experience of racing with a bib? Do you remember the first time?
My
How
first
was it
trail
different?
running race was, yeah, um, it was hard. But yeah, I guess the one I remember the most is my first ultra race, which I went up with on distances pretty fast. At that moment, we didn't know what we were doing. We had this adventure racing background, so I was like, who cares about jumping from 50K to 100 to 80K? For me, it was, so we were a little bit, I would say, reckless in that sense. And I remember doing this race and getting to a waterfall, a beautiful waterfall, and thinking, I want to keep doing this sport because of the amazing places that it takes me. I actually got second on that race, so it wasn't that bad. Very local, small race, but I also think that got me a little bit more competitive.
Are you both disciplined in your training, or do you allow yourself a bit of flexibility, or you really stick to the plan?
I'll say I've changed a lot.
Okay.
The past 2 years, I've been super serious with a coach. For me, it was a transition. I think after looking like how I kept improving, there was a moment of realization of saying like, okay, like it's okay to be kind of flexible, but I am really missing an opportunity if I'm not more dialed, and I started working with a coach, which is part of CTS, which is one of the main training companies for, ultra running. And for me, it was a big change because I also changed my mentality. Well, like, okay, this can really be my work. And I am when I want to be super organized, I am super organized. So from that point on, I can say that I'm like, what I have that day, I do that day, And of course, I know my body so much from adventure racing that I take good decisions. I think that's part of it. Like, it's not like if I don't know, if I didn't sleep at all or something like that, and my plan says you need to go do a really hard workout, I go and do it. Like, I do have some kind of important mindset of saying like, okay, my coach will be proud if I tell her that I should not do that, So, but that's also part of being like a good athlete, like learning to be flexible with your own feelings.
Maria, what kind of training session do you enjoy the most, and which ones do you dread?
I actually do like the hard ones, the ones that are like very specific, I enjoy those because I feel that, those are very, and I know this is not true and that every training session is productive, but those sessions that are very specific and when you come home and you know that you've done a really hard work, I really enjoy those. And I'm very lucky to live with my coach. And so whenever I come home from those, I'm like, please analyze my data and tell me how did my training go. And I'm looking for like immediate feedback on those, which I get.
Joaquin, you also do a lot of cycling, right?
I do. I think it's a really good way of adding more volume without, like doing so much hard training.
Not too much impact
body,
on your body.
Yeah. And one thing that I really like about sport is durability. Like, I think I've been super consistent throughout my career. Like, all my races I haven't DNF a single race. Like, the only one I did was Segama because I broke my ankle, pretty much. But
a good reason to not finish race.
But I haven't had a bad race in a way that I bonked so bad that I have to drop out. So, and I am proud of that because I think, that's taking those good decisions as doing more mountain biking or resting when you need to rest. Like, I enjoy those resting days. Like, or I enjoy one day if with Maria we say like, let's go to the movies, and don't think about so much sports. I mean, that's also part of it. We need balance in life, and sometimes if your mind is okay and you're happy, you get more consistent with training in the long plan, not in the week maybe, but if you see your overall year, you will see that those days that you didn't do the training, they had a lot of impact in the overall outcome.
And you, Maria, do you also cross-train with other sports?
Yeah, we actually, that's something that we do together quite a lot. Cycling, it's, as Joaquin was saying, it's one of those, we enjoy to, during the summer we go to the beach. It's the only time I get to convince him to go to the beach. We pack our stuff and put it on the bike saddles and go to cycle to the beach. Lots of gym training. I've come to a point where I realize that's extremely important as I get older as a woman. The more I am aware of that. So yeah, but I would have to say that I really enjoy cycling together as that cross-training activity.
Joaquin, you've said that you never imagined yourself as a professional trail runner. At what point did you realize that running would become such an important part of your life?
Being from Ecuador is not easy in that sense. Like, I always had that in my back of my head. Like, I was already getting like really good results. Like, I finished second, for example, in TDS, and I was like, okay, like I should be able to get some sponsorship, like that don't only pay my my how to say, when you like my plane ticket,
trip, and
everything. Okay. My food for my nutrition for the race, like really like
not
make
only
something
technical
out of
support,
it,
but
exactly. And when I was contacting with all the brands, they were kind of interested until they realized that I was living in Ecuador, and they said things like, "We don't sell so much product in your region," or "You should come live in Europe to be more present in more races that we support." Or if you live in your region, we have a rule that we can just give you products. So I think that it was kind of hard in a way, but it was also motivating, because it was like I've been always super inspired, like, to push for the minorities, and like the representation of Latin American runners in this sport is small. We are a minority. There's not so many people, but I've seen it closely how many people dream of being here. So in a way, that got me more energy to do better results, like to try harder. And it wasn't until last year that actually I signed my first like pro contract. So it's been a long career of trying, and finally it was possible. Like,
and you met Kelas Fuga that helped you do this.
Exactly. And what I like the most about them, from the bottom of my heart, is that their team is super diverse. Like, you get people from Ukraine, from Nepal, from Europe as well, like from the United States, from Romania, and really strong athletes that they represent, like, a lot of people with a lot of dreams. And sometimes, like, the big brands, they don't realize about how passionate these people are. Like, I've seen here like right now in Ecuador, how many people love this brand. Like, it's a really love mark, because they support me, and they feel like if they support me, they support the entire country. So that's beautiful, like that really makes an impact in the sport.
I would like to hear more about your Ecuadorians project, how it started and what it means to you today.
Well, and going back to the last question you gave, you asked Joaquin, it's really been a hard way. And the process has been really hard. And as he was saying before, with his cousins leaving him behind and him wanting to prove them wrong, I feel it's been sort of the same with the trail running brands, right? Like brands saying, no, we're looking, there's no spots, and then finding out that they had just signed someone else. And when we finally, when we found Kailas, it was like, these guys, they're really valuing, and they want to do things differently. And I just wanted to add that as well, because we're so lucky to have found Kailas and being part of their team, because this is how trail running should be. Trail running should be diverse, and there should be opportunities for people from all around the world. And if you take a look at other brands, you'll see their teams are all, either all European or American or Australian and no one from other countries. But okay, going to Ecuador runs now. So Joaquin was actually working in marketing, but he had a side job as a coach, right? So when he would come back from work, he would go to the parks to coach a group of people. And it didn't matter how tired he would always go, and that was the happiest part of his day. And at one point I was saying, like, what are you doing? Why are you spending so much time at the office doing a job that you don't like when this is what actually you're passionate about? And it took me a long time to pushing him and saying, let's do this, do what that you love. Life is short and we should go for it. And that's how Ecuador Run started. It has completely, it's evolved quite a lot into probably the biggest trail running company, one of the biggest in Latin America. But more than a training company, what we want to do with Ecuador Runs is try to, again, bring more people into the sports. We have a lot of projects in looking into the future of, how do we bring the training sessions that we have to vulnerable communities, to neighborhoods that don't have the same opportunities than those where we actually do have training sessions now. And trying to, grow as a company, but most of all as a way to bring about change through sports, which we see going on as we speak. We have more than 350 people training with us, and a team of 12 coaches. He is the head coach. I'm the CEO. So not only are we a couple, but also co-workers.
Okay. And you're still happy together.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see what happens after tomorrow.
Yeah.
What motivated you to move to Europe a few years ago?
So when I went to the United States that we talked before, to that it was not an internship, it was a year abroad. I studied exercise science, and it was like a minor, and I always had it on my head, like, okay, I want to do a master's. Like, I really want to keep learning about all this training. I'm so passionate about that. I was hearing podcasts all day, like I was obsessed. So actually, as Maria has always been the one pushing me to do things that I'm afraid of. Like, I grew up in a family that we like things like certain, like we don't take so many risks in a way. So, and Maria has been super good with me in that sense, not only in the races because she believed in me, but also in life, like saying, like, why, like, if you really like that, like, why you don't take a chance on yourself? Like, you have savings, like, let's go, let's do it. Like, why not? And I signed up for a master's in physical education and health in Barcelona, which is, Kilian Jornet from Catalonia, yeah. So they really know about this sport. And that's why we went to Barcelona. And of course, it was in kind of in our back of the mind. It was like, okay, I can have some years to really try to push my level racing more in the big races that we have here. So that was our path, that it was supposed to take 1 year, and we're 4 years now. Yeah.
Let's discuss a bit about Kayla's Fuga. Can you tell us the very first time you connected with them?
Yeah.
It was through a friend, right?
So
Andres?
this is a funny story. Actually, as soon as I moved to Barcelona, life is crazy, like how these opportunities just happen. My first time I went to TDS, I got connected to a French brand. You might know it. It's WA. Remember? WAA is the brand that supports Marathon des
Adventure.
Sables. Yeah. And in that team, my teammates were Sangue Sherpa and Donatello Rota, and, well, some others, Jordi Gamito. It was a really good team, actually. And that team just disappeared in a moment. Like, they didn't have any budget, and it disappeared. But when I moved to Europe, suddenly on my social media, Donatello started wearing Kailas. And then, like, 3 months later, Sangue was wearing Kailas. So I was like, and I've never heard about this brand. So I started investigating about it. And I saw that they were really adventurous. Like, they had, like, mountaineering stuff. Like, that really, like, me growing up as an adventure racing, with an adventure racing background, like that was really appealing. Like, I was like, wow, this brand really has stuff that I would like to have. So I texted Donatello, and he was like, yeah, I'm happy to connect with you. And yeah, like full circle. Like at the end, we three are now still some of the first Kailas athletes in Europe, and it was a moment when Kailas started, like, like trying to get into this European market. They were really big in China, but they were learning about the sport, and we began with like product that was not that proper for trail running, because they did mountaineering gear. And it's crazy how much passion they had put into the sport and how much they have developed with our insights, and which is super valuable because they really listen. And now we have, I'm sure that the gear that we have might be one of the best, like in the sport. Like they really have this background of, like tough conditions, and you can see it when you're running.
So you take part of the product development as well.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes it's really valuable when a brand listens to you, because at the end you're the one that are having all these kind of experiences. Like one thing is the shoe when you run for 1 hour, and one thing is when you're running for more than 10. So that kind of insights are important, because you can see like, okay, the grip after 10 hours, this happens, and they've been so dialed into listening to our feedback. And that's why, like, right now, like, it might be one of the best gear like around, because there's a lot of people that know a lot. It's like a really, really valuable team that they have.
What does your connection with Kailas look like throughout the year?
Sorry?
What does the connection with Kailas look throughout the year?
So what I really like about this brand also is that they have a lot of flexibility. It's not that they push you to do certain races. So they really want you to be okay. And that also is really valuable for me, because sometimes I do like to share with my community. So I like to go to Quito, and maybe it's not their most important race, but they're like, that's fine for me. If you're okay, if you like that race, we will support you. And right now I went to China. I mean, it's nice, because this sense of exploration and curiosity that I had, it's been propelled with them, because they're really pushing me to go to different locations and like to learn from different people, and that's what makes me thrive. Like right now I went to Japan, to Mount Fuji, and the culture, I think that really being in that kind of conditions really made me had such a great race. You want to say something?
No, I was going to mention that this past April, we were lucky enough to go to visit Kailas' headquarters. And it was such an amazing experience. Of course, there is a big, cultural and time difference and language barrier. And being able to go there to meet the team, to get to know their offices, how they work, it was such a game changer when it came to the relationship that we both have with the brand. And we grew even, we're much bigger fans than we were before. And we really do feel part of a family now, and how they support Joaquin, and how I think we're really lucky to be part of this team.
Are you the kind of athlete who test every new model, or do you prefer to stick with always the same shoes or gear? Are you curious about the innovation?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, because they really have like anything you need. Like if you want to run fast with a carbon plate, you have that. And there's runners from the team that they love that shoe. For me, for example, I'm not that into that shoe, because I run more long distances and I prefer more like comfort, So for me, the 330s are my favorite, because at the end they are really comfy, but they're really reactive too. So you don't feel like you're in a clumsy shoe. Like it also helps you to run fast. So I've been sticking with that shoe because I really like it a lot. But the variety is super nice, because it's fun to see like my different teammates, how they have their own preferred shoes. So everyone has their option.
We've talked about your relationship with Kailas, but here we are this week, as we can hear, right in the heart of Chamonix and the UTMB, the event everyone in trail running is talking about. Let's dive into what this edition means to you. What do you enjoy the most when coming here to Chamonix, Maria?
The community, I would say, and knowing that there's people you only see once a year, but you're going to see them here, or people that you meet haven't seen them in 5 years, but they're going to be here, and knowing that it's crazy, but there's a trail running community around the world, which it's still a little bit niche, even though the sports is growing quite a lot. So being able to meet all of those people from that community, and obviously feeling that you're part of this very big thing going on, it just gives me the chills thinking about it. And also the fact that I love this. Elites are running with the popular runners, right? Knowing that you're going to be standing at the same start line, going through the same course, and through the same finish line. I think that is something really magical about the sports. And there's surprises about that. And maybe someone that, you've never heard about is going to end up in the podium. Like it happened last year, Many people probably didn't know who Joaquin Lopez was.
I was on the finish line to live this. It was very emotional.
I love that happens in Chamonix, and it's like the best example of why we love our sport. And
I was gonna say that, sorry to interrupt. Today I finished 35th and it was packed. Like I felt like there was the same amount of people of last year when I finished third.
Yeah,
and that's so valuable because I know that people
that are
gonna
be even
get
more people from Maria on Sunday morning for sure.
Well,
hopefully
it's going to be like 5 a.m. So I don't know. I don't want to keep my hopes up, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joaquin.
No, and that's so nice for like everyone has their dreamed finish line, and you get to share with different runners, and like the vibe, the energy, it's amazing. It's something that I really feel like you don't get it in any other sport.
Joaquin, you were the first male Latin American in history to achieve a top 10 finish here at the UTMB. You finished third last year. What memories stand out from that race last year?
It was really incredible. Like sometimes I'm short of words of what happened. Like I still sometimes think about it, and it seems like a dream because I mean, I did train so much, and I had that dream, and I thought I could have a really good race, but I didn't expect to finish that high up. But as soon as I had a small chance, like I think that representation of Latin America, just deep in my heart, like didn't let me surrender in any time. Like it just, I don't know, it kept me pushing like so much.
It gives you a
more
broader role and responsibilities?
Yeah,
in
exactly. In a way, it felt like it's my chance. Like right now, this is gonna change the sport, and I'm not gonna let it not happen. And it's amazing. Like, I'm short of words. I'm still short of words, and I'm super inspired of what happened. And I do think that I can still improve that. Like I had a really good race, but it's like, when you really run for a strong reason and you run it with your full heart, sometimes you can really outrun some of the professional things that you might get from runners that are like measuring the heat or like these crazy stuff that right now are part of the sports. But there's nothing like having a strong mindset.
No, I just want to say that I think that in thinking about last year, and Joaquin's superpower is his why, is his reason. And
I thought you said his wife also.
But
his why as well.
That's true.
That's true. His why and his wife. And that's what has kept him going throughout all of these years. And I think that last year was, the epitome of that. You're there and you've got a chance to change things for not only for Latin America, but for other minorities as well. And we are both extremely privileged. I mean, we are lucky enough to be sitting here speaking English. First of all, many people in Latin America don't have that luck. We've been lucky enough to be able to travel, to get our visas approved, things that are not usual for many Latin American people. And what do we do with those privilege? How do we take those and transform that into opportunities for other? That's what has helped Joaquin, I think, to push hard.
After last year's UTMB, Joaquin, you said, what's next? Just keep training and having fun in the mountains while I try to break my mental barrier of what's possible. What are those mental barriers, and do you feel you've come to overcome them?
Yeah, I think it's a process. Like I've mentioned this before, but the first times I came here, I was afraid to stand up like near the front of that race. Like it really inside of me, I was like, I don't belong it. I don't belong there. Like that I follow all these like pro runners in Instagram, and I don't. I thought like I don't train that much as them. I'm not measuring all this kind of stuff that I was talking about. So it was a thing about trusting in myself, and Maria has been like so helpful in that, because I think if I wouldn't have had her like always like in a Monday, reminded me that I'm capable, that if I'm feeling bad, it's part of it. Like even those small things like in daily life, and not even mentioning about these kind of races, that like when I'm racing, the things that she says, like when we're in the aid stations, are like super powerful. Like that kind of things in me, and with also the help of a psychologist, has helped me really like stand strong and firm in the start line and believe that it's possible. And as I said, I think I still have work to do in this sense, but it has improved so much. Like for example, in Mount Fuji this year that I won that race, like I felt from the beginning that I belonged there. I was running in the lead pack, and I was running next to athletes that in other times they passed me, or sorry, I passed them, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't be passing this guy, and instantly I backed up. Right now I was like, yes, I can pass him. Like it's okay. Like trust yourself. You can do it. And that mindset is evolving, and each time it's more powerful. So that's why I do think that I can still improve. Like I still have margins to run stronger.
But you're on track, on the good tracks. Maria, you first raced the OCC in 2016 and then the TDS twice. What gave you the desire to take on your first UTMB? Had you been dreaming about this first 100 mile for a long time?
Well, actually, I remember, I think it was the first time you did UTMB. I was like, I'm never doing UTMB. This is way too long. Why would you want to do that for me? It's going to be 35 hours at least, And I can't tell you exactly when it changed, but it's been changing for the past few years. And I think that last year with Joaquin's third place, I was like, okay, I want to do it. I have to do it. I think that every trail runner has to go through that. And after TDS, it's like it's so long and so hard that I can't believe I'm actually gonna choosing going for a bigger distance. I don't know why I'm doing it. And probably if you ask me on Sunday, I still won't know why. But I think that, it's been UTMB, it's such a big part of our lives. And after what happened last year, I just had to go ahead and try it. I've heard so many stories. I've been in the course so many times on the 8 stations, and I feel that it's time to do it from the other side.
And on Sunday, you will probably say never again. And the next day, say, okay, UTMB 2028, I'll be back.
Probably.
For sure.
Who knows? I mean, I already did TDS twice, so let's see what happens with UTMB.
How did your preparation go for this UTMB? Are you satisfied?
Yes. I think I've been more consistent than ever. What do you say, Coach?
You said yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been, I'm a very, very different from him. I'm usually like this with my training. It's like I get very passionate about it, and then I get a little bit tired and distracted. And for this time, I was able to really find, consistency. I did have a small injury in the build-up, but that meant I had to spend a lot of time in the gym, which I think it has been really helpful. As in the end, is going to be good for my race.
As you know, running an ultra is never a solo effort. And the role of crew support is essential. Let's talk about this side of the race. Joaquin, what is it like to take on the role of crew? Do you find it difficult?
I actually love it, and I think that we do have experience in it. Like, this is a funny story, but the first time Maria did TDS, I crew her in TDS in the bus. Like, I didn't have a car. Like, we just were both of us. We didn't have all these friends and people around, And things like, for example, I remember in Beaufort, she was this close for me to go to get the bus, and if I didn't get the bus, I had a 3-hour gap until the next one, and she didn't make it, and I had to rest in Beaufort in the benches of the, like at 2 a.m. I had to wait from 2 to 5 a.m. Super cold, and I was racing UTMB in 2 days apart. So, I mean, I love it, and I usually get so inspired from it. Like, I remember I actually got a cold from it. Like, when she got to the finish line, I didn't sleep pretty much anything, and I had a little fever, and I had my throat really going on. But the amount of inspiration I got from like following her and seeing her like push through all these barriers really was stuck in my head when I was running. And I was like, okay, if she was able to do that, like how can I don't push myself now? Like, it's just a way of giving back. And then I went on to finish 6th in that UTMB without like even thinking about it. Like, that was not in the plan, let's say. And Ecuadorians is like that. Like, sometimes we have races when we have 100 runners going on, and I usually race my own race, and then I go to the aid station to help the other runners that are still on track. And I think that really defines what I love about the sport. So I will keep doing it forever. Like, I think if I break my leg and I can't run anymore, I will still be super happy, like being around this sport, like organizing events or being there for people.
Professional crewer.
Yes, exactly. I will be equally passionate and happy about it.
Maria, when Joaquin is crewing you, what do you need the most from him? What do you expect?
For him to push me.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
So even to be a bit tough, or is it what you expect, or just you need sweetness? Okay.
I need that.
Okay.
Sometimes when I'm breaking down, I need him, and I think you do as well. This is funny because sometimes he needs that from me as well. We always remember this time. I think it was not this. Well, anyway, it was a UTMB. I don't remember what year.
And so, do you instantaneously feel it? What you might expect, or what Maria might expect? Do you
know
like
what
before speaking when he arrives? Do you know what how do you need to manage the conversation and what you have to give him?
We do plan quite a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of planning, and I do think that I've come to know him, and I know what to say and not to say. Okay. And even when I see his face coming up, I know.
Yeah, she knows me so well.
And I know I don't need to speak that much. He is someone. He's a person that needs a lot of quiet and concentration. So there's not much speaking going on. Okay. Very few words. But yeah, it's years of knowing.
Yeah, like for example, I'm like. When I see her, I usually get more vulnerable. How do you say that?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
vulnerable. And I started to mention all the things that hurt, and So, in a moment, we realized about this, and I was like, okay, don't ask me how I am, because if you ask me, I'm gonna just crash and say like, I don't know, my leg hurt. This guy is feeling better. He just passed me. Like all the bad stuff. So now, if I don't say like something, she will not give it to me, So if I mention something, it's like things that are positive. Mm-hmm. And I'm aware of not asking about things that will get my emotions down. Yeah. So we practice that, and we also practice like actually the mechanics of doing that transition. Actually, 2 UTMBs ago, I was one of the worst times in the top 20. I wasted a lot of time. And we put it as a goal, like we're gonna make this work. And in the past UTMB, I had the best time in male from all the male runners. Just Ruth Croft beat me, but I had the best times. I stopped.
We have a competition going on.
Yeah, I stopped 13 minutes in all UTMB from all the 8 stations. So. We practiced. In our home, I was like getting to the living room. She was putting the stuff. She knows exactly where the gels go, where the caffeinated gels go. If I need to, she's amazing in that. So I mean, I have a lot of pressure for the race, but same. I think that living together and knowing each other so much, I know what she needs. Sometimes she does need a hug and cry. She loves to cry, and it's okay. I've learned that. Like sometimes I was like, I was super worried. Like. I mean, it's hard to see someone suffering and crying, and for her it's like so normal and so liberating to cry that now I know that if she cries, that's a good sign. Like that's like she needs to like get rid of a lot of emotions and just keep going.
I literally feel when I cry that pain goes away.
Okay.
Like
Get out of your body. It goes out of your body.
There's something going on that helps me with pain.
Joaquin, what kind of crew are you? Are you? Oh. We won't tell anyone.
Okay.
Are you, let's say, nervous just looking at the live trail every minute, or if you don't see a point moving or the time not, are you worried, or you stay
Actually,
calm
I'm
no matter what?
super calm. I trust in her ability so much that actually she's way more intense in that sense. Like I'm like, okay, she's out there. She's been doing adventure races like crazy stuff, crazy stuff. Like you cannot imagine the places she's been, like by herself with other 3 teammates. But this is nothing. Like you have an helicopter if you need it right there. So for me, it's actually like I trust her so much in her abilities that I know that nothing is gonna happen. So it's more a thing of I'm worried about just she having an injury and like not feeling well, like that kind of stuff, because I sense it too, like when she's demoralized, let's say. But that's the only thing that worries me. So I'm not that stuck into the live trail. It's just like I check the hour she's gonna come, and of course I recheck, but it's not in my mind like a lot.
It's our last question for today. It's for you, Maria. What would be a successful UTMB for you? What do you expect when we talk?
Crossing the finish line and enjoy myself. I have had years where I don't enjoy myself. I put a lot of pressure into me, and I forget why I'm doing it. You know, I do this because I love it, because I like it. And of course, there's going to be very big amounts of suffering. But if you're not enjoying it, then why are you doing it? So I really hope to cross that finish line and being able to remember those times of happiness and enjoyment. And yeah, time-wise, as I said before, anything like 35 hours would be an amazing race for me. But then again, my first goal is just crossing that finish line with a smile.
Thank you so much for your time and this really nice moment, Maria and Joaquin. If that works for you, let's agree to talk again on Sunday for a short debrief, so we can revisit together the emotions and the experiences you will have shared during this UTMB. There will be plenty of them for sure. Joaquin, have a good recovery. And to both of you, Maria and Joaquin, I wish you a wonderful UTMB together. All my best, and all my heart will be are with you. And let's talk again on Sunday, if that's okay with you.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you
perfect.
so
Thank
much,
you very
Guillaume.
much.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
For me too. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.